First up, the woman accused of killing her son and several animals in Sidney in 2024 appeared in an Augusta courtroom today for a motion to involuntarily medicate. 41-year-old Megan McDonald is charged with murder for the killing of her 14-year-old son, Quincy McDonald, as well as aggravated cruelty to animals. Doctors at the Dorothea Dick Psychiatric Center, where McDonald is staying, spoke of the benefits medication might have for her, as they believe she has delusional disorder, thoughts that aren't based in reality. According to court documents, McDonald said she killed her son due to orders from God. While McDonald has cooperated with treatments such as psychotherapy, they say it's not helping. Doctors suggest antipsychotic medication that could help restore her competency. The defense questions the medications, as they aren't FDA approved, to help with delusional disorder, and expressed concerns about the side effects, as McDonald has a history of heart conditions. A judge will issue a ruling on the motion at a later